The first week I had Claude Code really building things, I caught myself doing something dumb, passed. Midnight, hunched over the terminal, hit enter, wait, read, hit enter again, babysitting it, turn by turn. And the whole time, the tool already had 3 different ways to keep itself going. Without me in the chair, 3 ways to take my hand off the key. The trick was knowing which one the job in front of me actually needed. Welcome to AI TechBook. I'm going to walk you through the 3 ways to keep Claude Code working without you sitting there approving every single step, /goal, /loop, and routines. By the end, you'll know exactly which one to reach for and why. Let's get into it. Once I stopped flailing, every one of these tools answered the same question, and it's the question I now ask first: what makes Claude take the next turn, and who decides it's done? There are really 3 axes here. 1. What starts the next turn, a condition getting rechecked, a time, interval, or a trigger firing. 2. Where it runs, your machine, or Anthropic's cloud with your laptop shut. 3. Who says it's done, a separate model, you, or a recurring schedule. Get that frame, and you never grab the wrong one. These aren't a list to memorize. There are 3 answers to one question you're already asking. I'll walk each the way I learned it, what it does, the simplest, real use, and the mistake that taught me the edge. Start with the one that finally got me to take my hand off that key /goal, the worker. /goal was the one that changed how I work. You hand it a finishing line, a completion condition, and it just keeps taking turns on its own until that line is crossed. So I type something like /goal, all tests and test, auth pass, and lint is clean. Then I walk away. Here's what's happening. Under the hood, after every turn, the condition and the whole conversation go to a small fast model, Haiku by default. That answers yes or no. No, and Claude takes another turn, with the reason as a hint. Yes, and it stops and clears the goal. The first time I set one, walked away, and came back to green tests, it honestly felt like cheating. It even runs headless, Claude-P /goal, and it runs the whole thing in one shot. You'll want version 2.139 or later. But my very first real goal, total disaster, and it was entirely my fault. My first real goal, I told it, make the auth flow better. It ran and burned through tokens and never stopped, because there is nothing in the word better that its own output can ever prove. Here's what I'd missed. That judge doesn't run your tests or open your files. It only reads what Claude already put in the conversation. So the condition has to be something Claude's own output can demonstrate: a test result, an exit code, a count. The fix was boring and it just worked. A measurable end state, a stated check, and the constraints that must not change on the way there. Same tool, night and day. You can even bound it or stop after 20 turns. So a bad condition can't run away with your budget. And once it was checkable, I hit the deeper thing, the part that made me actually trust it. Early on, /goal sometimes declared victory on work that was obviously broken. That nearly made me quit using it. Then I read how it checks itself, and it completely flipped. The model that grades the work is a separate model from the one doing it. That separation is the entire point. It's to guard against the classic failure where the thing that wrote the code is the same thing that confidently says it's correct. The day I stopped letting Claude grade its own homework, /goal got trustworthy. And that idea is bigger than this one command. It's how you design any agent you're going to rely on. Under the hood, it's just a stop hook firing after each turn, 1 goal per session, clear at any time. So that's the worker. But sometimes you don't want it to finish. You want it to keep an eye on something. Different job, different tool, /loop. /loop is the watchman. It doesn't chase a finish line. It checks back on something, on an interval, and keeps checking until you stop it. So, /loop 5M, check if the deploy finished, and tell me what happened. Give it an interval, and Claude turns it into a cron schedule and runs your prompt on that beat. Seconds, minutes, hours, days. It's the quickest way to watch something. But while the session stays open, I reach for this whenever I'm waiting on something outside Claude. A deploy, a queue, a long build, and I don't want to keep checking it myself. Stop a waiting loop with escape, and a recurring one won't haunt you forever. It auto expires after 7 days. You'll want version 2, 1, 7, 2 or later. But the version of /loop I actually use most has no interval at all. Drop the interval entirely and /loop stops running on a fixed clock and starts pacing itself, and honestly, this is the one I leave running most days. After each pass, it picks a delay between 1 minute and 1 hour based on what it just saw. Short while a build is finishing or a PR is active, long when nothing's pending. So I'll say /loop, check whether CI passed and address any, review comments, and it leans in when there's something to do and backs off when it goes quiet. I stopped picking intervals by hand entirely, and when the work is provably done, it can just stop. Scheduling itself. It still shows up in your task list, still obeys that 7-day expiry. It's just not married to one rigid beat. Which brings me to the trap I fell into more than once. Reaching for the watchman when I actually needed the worker. Here's the mistake that cost me a night. I used /loop for a job that should have just finished. I wanted it done. Instead, I told it to keep checking. So it kept checking. Picture the same task too. Ways. /goal turns butted edge to edge, no gaps, racing to a yes, and then stopping. /loop. The same turns, spaced apart by interval gaps, never stopping on its own. That's the whole difference. Goal starts the next turn the instant the last one finishes and stops when the condition is met. Loop waits for the interval and stops when you stop it. Back to finish, spaced out to. Watch. So if the work has an end state, you want the worker. If it's an open-ended watch, you want the watchman. Wrong tool, wrong stop condition, every time. But both of these still need me in the chair, laptop open. What about the jobs that should run while I'm asleep? /goal and /loop both die the moment I close the laptop. The first time a job shipped a pull request while my machine was shut in another room, that was a routine, and it genuinely changed what I was willing to hand off. A routine is a saved Claude Code setup, a prompt, one or more repos, and your connectors. That runs on Anthropic's cloud. No session open, no machine on. That's each run. Clones the repo fresh and works on a Claude prefix branch, fully autonomously, no approval prompts. Mid-run, so scope it to exactly what it needs. That's the real shift. The worker and the watchman need me present. The routine is the night shift. It runs the work. I review what it left me in. The morning. One heads up. Routines are in research preview, so the edges are still moving. And the part that makes them more than a glorified cron job is how they start. I assumed routines were just scheduled jobs. They're way more flexible than that. And once I saw the 3 ways to start one, I started wiring them into everything. Schedule, run on a cadence, hourly, nightly, weekly, and the floor is 1 hour. API, every routine gets an endpoint you post to with a token, so your alerting tool or your deploy script can fire it. GitHub, it reacts to pull requests and releases. And one routine can carry all 3 at once. That's where it clicked as actual. Infrastructure, nightly backlog grooming on a schedule, an alert that opens a draft fix through the API, a review checklist that runs on every PR. You create them at claude.ai/code/routines, or right from the CLI with /schedule. There's one trap here that fooled me completely, and it cost me a morning. The most innocent thing on the screen, the color green. This one cost me a morning. I set up a nightly routine, checked it over coffee, saw a row of green, and assumed we were fine. We were not. Green just means the session started and exited cleanly. It does not mean the task in your prompt actually worked. A blocked request, a missing tool, a task level failure, all of that hides inside a perfectly green run. The job had quietly failed and the casing was still green. So now I treat green as it ran, never as it worked. I open the run and read what it actually did before I trust it. Autonomous is not the same as verified, so with all three. On the table, worker, watchman, night shift, which do you actually reach for? Let me put one job in front of all three. Here's how I decide now every single time. One job, keep main releasable, and the three tools side by side, because the right pick depends entirely on you and the work. At my desk with a verifiable end state, that's the worker / goal. Fix the failing release tests until CI is green and it races to done. Watching something change while I work on other things. The watchman / loop. Every 10 minutes, check the release PR and address new comments. Has to run with the laptop. Shut on a schedule or an event. The night shift, a routine. Every night at 2 a.m., run the release. Checklist and open a PR, waiting for me with coffee. Same goal, 3 relationships to your attention. That's the whole video in 3 words. Worker, watchman, night shift. Match the tool to how present you can actually be, and you stop babysitting and you stop guessing. So there it is. /goal runs until it's done, the worker. /loop runs every so often, the watchman. And a routine runs while you sleep, the night shift. Done when, every so often, while you sleep, take your hand off the enter key. Subscribe to AI TechBook for more Claude Code, and I'll see you in the next one.